I'm probably ruining my microphone. That's okay. Alrighty, as you can see, they are packed in foam. Get them out. Foam all the way around. Same thing, we got the foam and more foam. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. All right, so in today's video, we're going to be checking out some 12 volt, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries from Basen, or Basen, whichever you prefer. These guys right here, they actually sent two of them. One of them is a smart battery and one of them is a dumb battery. And all that really means is one can connect with Bluetooth and the other one cannot. Between the two, there is a $40 difference for that feature. The dumb battery is $258 and the smart battery is $298, at least at the time of this video. So basically what we're gonna do in this video is probably just do a couple of capacity tests and compare the two to see if you actually even need Bluetooth connectivity. I mean, do we really need it? All right, before we get too far into this video, if you don't want to see my beautiful face or hear my voice, there's going to be chapters in the timeline, so you can skip around if you want to. All right, let's get to it. And as you can see right here on the side, the case is ABS and it's IP65. The terminals are M8, charge current is 50 amps, discharge current is 100 amps, and you have a peak discharge current of 260 amps for 3 seconds. Dimensions are 260 by 208 by 160 millimeters. Weight is approximately 11 kilograms. The charge method is constant current, constant voltage. Charge voltage is 14.4 to 14.6 volts. So 14.6 is 3.65 volts per cell because there's 4 cells in here. And then the low side is 10 volts, which is 2.5 volts per cell inside here. Pretty standard or typical for lithium iron phosphate cells. And since we are in the United States, I'm gonna go ahead and measure those out for my fellow Americans. So this is about 10 1/4 wide by, I don't know, 6 5/8 by 8 3/8 to the top of the battery. And if we go to the top of the terminal, it's roughly 9 inches. If we weigh it, pounds, 22 pounds, 11.1 ounces. Alrighty, so if we just take a closer look at these, I mean, there's really not much to look at. It's got the logo and all the information on both sides. You know, obviously both of them do. It's got the 2 handles on top so you can carry it around pretty much anywhere you want to go. And the M8 bolts on the top have a lock washer and a regular flat washer. The wrench size is 13 millimeter or a number 3 Phillips head screw. The actual terminal on the battery is made of brass. Same for the negative side. Boom. Get back in there. And obviously it's clearly marked in red and black, and it also shows a positive symbol here and a negative symbol right here. The bottom side doesn't really have anything other than some ribs right here. And if you need something to compare it to, if you're used to lead acid batteries, this is an Interstate Deep Cycle Marine battery, model number SRM-24. It is pretty much the same size as these two batteries right over here. Obviously, lead acid, deep cycle. You could actually consider the lithium iron phosphate batteries as a deep cycle battery. They're not starting batteries, but they're deep cycle batteries. These also come with Bluetooth, which we will try to connect. Of course, there's 2 batteries here, and I don't know which one's which. Before we do that, we got to check the voltage of the batteries. Battery on the left, 13.15, and the battery on the right, 13.13. So hopefully we can tell that in the BMS app. And I'm just gonna put a 1 and then a 2. Hopefully I can decipher that later. All right, so Bluetooth app, and I'll try to put this up on the screen. All right, so I'm just gonna click this bottom one here, Alright, so I do have one battery here. This is 13.15, which I believe was battery 1. Each cell is sitting at 3.289 volts. And if we scroll down just a little bit more, it looks like they have cycled the battery once. And down here towards the bottom, the single cell over voltage and under voltage was twice. But they have tested the battery. We're going to go to the configuration real quick and see what everything is sitting at right now. So in here, obviously it's a 4S, so that's what it says at the top. Total battery capacity is set for 110. That might have been their last capacity check. Total capacity is set for 80 amp hours. Cell full voltage is 3.4. The balancer start configuration is 3.4. Balancer enabled. Now they do have this set for balance only when charging, and just like the off-grid garage, Andy says that one kind of sucks, and I agree with that. But for the first time charging, we're going to leave it just as it is and kind of go from there. Their delta that they have is 15 millivolts. Scroll down a little bit further. Cell over voltage is 3.65. Under voltage 2.5, battery over voltage is 14.6, under voltage is 10, the over current for charge and discharge is 110 amps, and they have their charging under temperatures, etc. down below that. So there you go. Alright, so the first time connecting to this with the Android, it's asking me for basically to confirm these settings. I'm just going to leave them because that's what it was already programmed at, and I'll just confirm it. And there you go. This is what it looks like, you know, on Android. Again, we can go over to the parameter settings and view those if you wanted to. Technically, you could change all of these. If you don't know what you're doing, I would not change these settings at all. I just leave it. All right, so there you go. All of these are pretty much the same in the iOS version. And I'm just going to scroll through here real quick. Alrighty, so there you go. There's all of those. If I back out and then go back in there to function settings, again, I'm just going to leave these how it is, at least for this first test. And then later on, I might uncheck the charge balance button here. But that would be the only thing I change, at least at this point. All right. All right, so there you go. Alrighty, next thing we're going to do is do the capacity test. Alrighty, we are charging up the battery now with this Powerwaller inverter charger right here. I have the side sitting off basically right here just so I could, you know, get to all the connections here. Anyway, we are recharging the battery at 22 to 23 amps. We are charging from the inverter, which is plugged into the grid. Actually, it's not really the grid. We're off grid right now. With my system over there, which is being charged from the solar and the inverter, which is powering my house right now. Alrighty, everybody, it is the very next day. So basically, I just let the battery charge up, and once we hit the full charge mark, or once we hit the, you know, the high cell cutoff, what I did after that was just went into the configuration real quick, went to the BMS settings, and then I changed the switch here for balance only when charging. I turned that off basically so the battery will continue balancing basically overnight. And then I also put it on this little charger and left it at 14.5 volts. So that is where we're sitting at right now. Each cell is at 3.63 roughly. So that's what we're going to start with for this first capacity test. I also put this one on the charger, so that one is full charge as well. Anyway, the test setup here is a 2000 watt Powerwaller inverter charger. This is a low frequency pure sine wave inverter. We're going to be using that, and we will be discharging with these two light bulbs over here. So I have a 150 watt light bulb and a 75 watt light bulb on the right, and that'll give us roughly a 0.2C discharge rate. And we're going to turn on the inverter here. I'm going to turn on the light bulbs over here. Alright, first capacity test starts right now, and the time is 12:28 p.m. and it should last roughly 5 hours. Here we go. Alright, so meter over here is 19.4 amps, and we're roughly the same on the battery right there. All right, so I will see you in about 5 hours. And then as soon as this shuts off, I'll turn the inverter back in. Oh, there it goes, right there. All right, so that was the end of test 1. I'm gonna plug in the inverter and it's gonna start charging the battery, and then the number on the BMS here is going to reset for the amp hour number, so let's see what it is. Alrighty, there you go. We got a total of 106.36 amp hours. Well, I probably should have drained it all the way down so we could see exactly when the battery shuts off, but I already plugged it in and we are charging the battery. So after I charge this back up, we will do a 0.5C discharge, or 50 amps or close to that, and then on that test I'll let it go all the way down to 0. We will see exactly when it shuts off and or which cell is the weakest, if that really matters. So I will see you in just a minute. Alrighty, just a few hours later, time now is 9:22. We are getting ready to do the second capacity test. And this one is going to be roughly a 0.5C discharge, or 50 amps. All right, so basically I just added more light bulbs over there on the side. So let's go ahead and get this party started, and I will, oh, let me turn on the light bulbs here. Light bulbs are on and the test starts right now. All right, inverter's unplugged. And at this current moment, we're drawing just over 46 amps, and that is going to go up just a little bit as time goes on, as the battery voltage drops. So we're already at 47 amps, so alrighty, there you go. I will see you as soon as this is done, in just a second. All right, so we're getting real close here. Even at 50 amps discharge, all the cells are at 3.1 volts, so it's looking real good to me. I guess I can feel the battery. I do feel some warmth here. I'm not going to pull out the thermal camera because I don't think it requires that, but I'll pull out the infrared thermometer. How about that? If I go directly on the battery itself, 77.5, 25.2 C. I'm looking for any warm spots. This plastic on this side is a little warmer, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. 28.8 degrees C, and I'm guessing the BMS is on this back side, so let me get a temperature of that. That is 88.5, 31.2 C. All right, so all the temperatures are looking pretty damn good to me. Actually, real good. Battery voltage right here is 11.94. Battery voltage on inverter is 11.4, so the inverter is definitely going to shut off first. That's okay, we'll throw a load on the battery and bring it all the way down to 0, or at least until the BMS shuts it off. Anyway, each cell inside is sitting at 2.9 volts. It's still doing pretty darn good. The delta between the cells is roughly 40 millivolts, so I don't think that's too bad at all. Batteries amaze me every time. There it goes. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to connect up this discharger right here, and we'll see, we'll just pull a little bit more out of here. If it's in focus, sitting at 10.9 on here. I have everything at 0, so we're gonna go ahead and turn this up, and I just gotta remember not to go over 150 watts. All right, I'm gonna leave it right there, and we'll just let it go. All right, it's going to shut off at any moment. Should. There it goes. All right, so that was at 2.497. So we got a total of 5.15 watt hours out of that little tiny amount. All right, so not a whole lot. All right, let me throw the charger on here real quick and we'll see what the new amp hour number is. Boom, there you go, 108.31 amp hours. So there you go, not too bad. That was a 0.5C capacity test. All right, so I'm going to charge this one back up, and now we are going to start with the dumb battery, or the one that doesn't have the smart Bluetooth capability. Alrighty, it is the very next day, and we're going to test the dumb battery. I mean, look how dumb it is. It's just sitting there doing nothing. So I had to change the setup just a little bit, and I'll show you what I did here real quick. Basically, the only thing I did is added a Victron smart shunt right here, and I have the app right on my phone. So this is what we're going to be using for the capacity test. We're sitting at 13.3 volts. I'll reset the history here so everything is zeroed out. This first test is going to be 0.2C, or there close to it, and we're using a 150 watt light bulb and a 75 watt light bulb. All right, here we go. Time now is 3:07. All right, so I will let this go and I will see you guys in just a second. Yeah. We're setting at 101.6 amp hours. I'm telling you this right now before it shuts off. Oh, actually just the inverter shut off. So we still have a little bit more left in here. I don't know if it's actually worth our time to get it because the battery voltage was 10.5. So I'm gonna call it good on that test. Alrighty, so we will go ahead and charge this back up and then do a 0.5C discharge test. Alrighty, time now is 11:50 p.m. and we are full charge. So we're going to do the 0.5C capacity test this time around, and I'm going to reset everything for this test. 1 second. We are going to start the test right meow, 11:52. Alrighty, we're discharging at 45 to 46 amps, and like I said before, as the voltage drops on the battery, the amperage will go up. So that will go up to a 0.5C. Alrighty, this test should last roughly 2 hours, so I will see you in a second, or maybe even for an update. We'll see. Alright, so here's a quick in-progress test on the 50 amp capacity test we're doing on the Dunn battery right now. So, time is 1:51 a.m. We're at 3% according to the shunt. Voltage is at 12.28. Current is 49.3, and we have consumed 95.3 amp hours. So we should be dropping off here pretty quick. If you want to see temperatures on this one, I could do that. So just on this side of the battery, 78.5 F, 26 C. All right, let me go to the side with the BMS. We're at 95 degrees Fahrenheit. 34.8 degrees C. It's going to shut off at any moment now. And there we go. Boom! Test is done. So this one we reached 102.6 amp hours. Not too bad. Alrighty, I did pack everything up and I was going to call it a day, but we're going to do one more test. It's not going to be a capacity test or anything like that. Basically, we're going to plug in this heater right here. It is 1300 watts or 1500 watts. We're going to plug it into the smart battery real quick and I guess just see what happens. All right, so here is the 1300 watts setting. Here we go. All right, so we're pulling 120 amps. So this should last for about 30 seconds or so, and then the BMS is going to shut it off. Oh, actually it didn't even last that long. All right, so there you go. All right, 1300 watts is too much. All right, here is another heater. It actually says 1500 watts, but I'm not 100% sure that's accurate. So we'll try this guy real quick and see what happens. All right, there's 70 amps, so that's not bad. All right, let me go to high and see what that does. Oh, yeah, we don't want to do that. But did you see it went to 140 something amps? I'm gonna do that again. 153 amps, 154. Look at that. Technically, I think this can surge up to, what was it, 320 or 300 and something amps, so that's not bad. All right, so I'm just gonna put that on 70 for a few minutes here and we'll see what happens. I could probably even plug in a light bulb or two. All right, here's a 150 watt light bulb we'll plug in. 87 amps, that's not bad. This one is 100 watts. I kind of want to get close to the 100 amp. All right, there you go, 97, 98. So I've got 150 and 100, and then the heater right down there. I'm using 4-gauge wire right now. I mean, it's barely warm. Battery is still cold. The delta right now is roughly, it kind of bounces from, I don't know, 7 to 20 millivolts. I don't think that's too bad under a 100 amp load. This is 1200 and, I don't know, 40 watts. Doing pretty damn good in my opinion here. I would let this go, but I don't feel like waiting. Alrighty, 100 amps, no problem. Alrighty, there you go. All right, so a quick little recap on the two batteries, smart versus dumb, with my little furry friend here. No, you can't chew on that. So the first capacity test was on the smart battery. It was a 0.2C load, or 20 amps, and we got a total of 106.36. The dumb battery, we got 101.6. That's only 4.76 amp hours difference. Now the second test was a 0.5C or 50 amps discharge test. The smart battery, we ended up with 108.31, and the dumb battery was 102.6 amp hours. Difference of 5.71 amp hours. Really not too much. Honestly, both of them did really well. Both tested over 100 amp hours, so that's fan-freaking-tastic. Sure, the smart battery did just a little bit better, and that was because of my little cheat. Basically, I went into the BMS app, hit the little switch that said charge while balance mode, and what that allowed me to do is once I was done charging, the battery will continue to balance, and I just let it sit there overnight balancing. That was my little cheat. The dumb battery, obviously I can't log into it to change anything, so it's gonna take a little bit longer to balance out. If you really wanted the dumb battery to be perfectly balanced, all you really need to do is just put it on a charge, a slow charge, like a trickle charge, and just let it charge up. The other way would be just to use it, cycle it every single day, and eventually all cells will come into balance. So is there really that much of a difference between the Basen smart battery or dumb battery? Not really. I mean, they both use the exact same cells. They probably use the exact same BMS, just one has the Bluetooth capabilities and one doesn't. If you're used to lead acid batteries and the battery's just sitting there doing what they're supposed to be doing and dying rather quickly, then no, you really don't need the Bluetooth option. I would honestly go for the cheaper battery. If you want to nerd out like I typically do in the BMS app, then yeah, go ahead and get the $40 upgrade and get the smart battery. In all honesty, both of them are a really good deal. The dumb battery is $258 and the smart battery is $298. I mean, where else can you find a great deal like that? Also, Basen, if you weren't aware, if you're not a follower of my channel, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, Basen and Emily, the one that sent these batteries, she's the one I got my Xiaoxiang batteries from. So thank you very much there, Emily. So one of your next questions might be, what do we actually use these lithium iron phosphate batteries for? I think the better question is, what can you not use them for, or what you shouldn't use them for? You shouldn't use them for starting vehicles. Can you start a vehicle with these batteries? Yes, I do not see, hey dude, I don't see why you couldn't. But basically these are like a deep cycle battery. You use them for solar, you use them for, you know, backups, which is solar. Trolling motors and boats, you know, stuff like that. His claw almost got my eye. You can pretty much use them for anything you want. If I didn't mention it before, these batteries can be put into series, so you can do 2 in series for 24 volt, 3 for 36, and 4 for 48. Obviously, you can parallel them probably as many as you want. All right, well, that is pretty much all I got. I've wasted enough of your time. If anybody's interested in these Basen 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries, I will have affiliate links down below. If you're not interested, then don't click on the links. All right, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you put those comments down below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the smash button. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next. And the bottom side of the battery ribbed for her play. Amp hours, which they are claimed to be. Hello, buddy. Thank you for licking my neck. 100% sure why you shouldn't actually, but I know you shouldn't. And I think it involves with alternators and computers and all that kind of stuff. Hi, buddy. Hi. Yep. Hi. Hello. Come on up. Come on. You gonna hop up there? No. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. I would hate to destroy these batteries, you know, and open them up, but if you guys really want me to open these up and destroy the batteries, I will. Make sure you put that comment down below. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one.